During spring and summer 2023, we followed our touring teams around to capture life on tour. We wanted to find out the why in why clubs tour. North America has so much to offer. Our job is to take you where the action is and create stories and memories that can be shared forever. Within reason, we all know what goes on tour stays on tour. So to first figure out why we tour, let's hear from our American friends.
What was it, man? Oh, it was a great day. Happy to have these guys come down. Always happy to host a touring side. It was a great day for rugby.
Let's get touring, brother.
Fucking right.
So one of the best parts about when you're a touring club coming over and stuff and being a host city is which I love the most is you can go from the best experiences to even greater experiences. You're out playing, you're 80 minutes against a bunch of guys, and then all of a sudden you're just upstairs in your friend's apartment hanging out with JPR Williams, a Welsh legend, just sitting there drinking a beer with him. He plays the same position as you. You're trying to pick his brain. It's one of the best experiences you can absolutely have. So.
Rugby touring, personally, I don't think it gets any better. I mean, you get a bunch of fun, like-minded people to go travel to a cool, exotic place, play rugby, and it's an excuse to make 40, 50 friends like that. And the hospitality that these teams extend to each other is fantastic. Anytime we play a team, their first thing is, when are you gonna come play us? And that's a great feeling to have. I was lucky enough to play with our friend Gaz back in 2007, where he came to Worcester from Australia. We became really good friends. We stayed close. 2013, I went to go on tour to the UK, Marken, Wales, Worcester, England, and Twickenham. And the rest of the tour went home, and I stayed put. And I stayed with Gaz for 6 months, played for Bedlinog. Great time. Came home after that, brought a couple Bedlinog boys with me to play a season for Worcester, and that's a bond that's kept pretty tight ever since then, which is 10 years ago now. So that's rugby in a nutshell right there.
So what I love about rugby is the community. Sport's great, but the community that's built is amazing. I actually just recently became a rugby fan. I went and visited Ireland. I learned a lot about the sport, fell in love with it. I met a bunch of random Welsh fans, which Wales is now my home country that I cheer for. I went over to Wales, met 15 different guys, a lot of pints, a lot of fun times. But just the rugby community is probably the most beautiful thing in the world.
All right, Eric Larson.
I'm Abby Larson.
So we came out from Denver, Colorado in the States just to come here and cheer on for Wales.
Woohoo, go Wales! Woo!
Here's the man in the moment, the one that's put all the hard work into making this happen. So you're here, representing Bedlinog, game's about to start, keeping hydrated. Why is playing on tour so important?
You have to play on tour, and we have to thank, obviously, Worcester for helping us out, because we had a shorter number of players due to a lot of youngsters within the Bedlinog team, which are under 21, so they couldn't tour. But we thank Worcester for that, and it's a big part of the tour, playing rugby and then socialising with the opposition after. We'll have a great day and night.
Excellent. Pop luck, buddy. Who's the best player produced by Bedlinog?
Me.
What are they going to say about you when you leave this earth, when they're talking about you in your rugby terms?
Statue. Fucking tight people. Statue.
That's one way to ruin. That's one way to ruin it. Thank you very much for Bedlinog for coming out here and visiting Worcester, the gem of the Northeast. Bedlinog and Worcester have a lot of history, starting with Gaza, who came over and played here in 2007. I went and played with you boys in 2013. Josh and Michael came over and played with us in 2014, and we've been going back and forth ever since. So we really appreciate it, boys. We really appreciate it. Let's go! I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Great game tonight. That was a lot of fun to be part of. Kind of wish I could have played. I think everyone who played had a great time. Yeah! Woo! So the way we like to do things is we like to name your best player, and then the captain's gonna come up and have a few words, and he names our best player. So as much as it really like, oh God, pains me to say this, Josh Reese. Let's go. Had a great game, bud.
First things first, I'd like to thank everyone in Worcester for putting on all this spread for us. We had a cracking time. I thought the ref was shit. He's got a lot to learn. A couple of dubious calls, he was very slow, but no. On behalf of everyone, Bedlinog Rugby Club, I'd like to say a big, massive thank you to everyone in Worcester. So, thank you.
It's obviously boiling hot down here. We all know what this tribute's about. To our Passy, he's around there, he's leaning on there, selling lottery tickets to the fucking lifeguards for there. Like my cousin said, he wasn't the best rugby player, not the best cricketer in the world or football player. What he did was so much for each club. Legend, he'd have turned up. I'm sure if he'd been on a trip, he'd have been out with each and every one of you at some stage throughout the 10 days. Old or young, whatever, he didn't mind old Pass. His mother would have been really touched by the tributes that every single one of you have made for him. You've all made the effort, and thank you for that. And I know from all the family, been in touch with Gary Warner over there and his mother Mavis, and they're really touched by every single effort that you lads have made. For me, I'm so proud of every single one of you for what you've done. You've stuck together, and the Pass would have loved every single minute of it. Okay, so I'm not going to say a lot more, and Jason's going to spread some ashes now. We'll have a photograph afterwards, boys, but we'll have a rendition of the Passy, Passio. 3, 1, 2, 3. Passy! Passio! Passy! Passio! Passy! Passio! Passy! Passio! God rest you, wing boy. Yeah.
Now let's talk to Gaza and find out how touring impacts life after returning home.
The big man's back from America. Mr. Jones here spent 12 days with Tondi, RFC in Houston, New Orleans, and down to Miami, shepherding 88
guys from that club across the southern part of the US. How was it, buddy? You survived?
I did survive. Weren't for the lack of trying though. I got to be honest though. They did give me a rough ride, but good bunch of boys.
So what are the qualities needed to be a tour leader on a trip like that with so many logistics, so many flights, so many cities?
Patience. Got to be pretty laid back, but also at the same time you've also just got to get things done, and just if it means waking up that extra hour earlier and going to bed that extra couple hours later, then you've got to do what you've got to do just to make things happen.
Well, I'm pretty sure Tony are going to want you again, buddy, in what's going to be 4 years' time. You know them better than anyone else. Where would you recommend that a club like that goes on their next adventure?
Knowing what I know about those guys and the way the rugby values that they possess, it's got to be to maybe some of the hotbeds of rugby. So somewhere like Argentina, somewhere like South Africa, just so they can maybe break the mold of going away from the US and Canada and maybe seeing a bit more the rugby side of life, and instead of the party scenes of the USA. Yeah, so you know, we had a presentation sort of a month after we came back, and just the way, I think it was me and the other guy that organised the tour, just the way that the boys sort of greet each other and chat to each other and exchanging the stories and just the banter and the different stuff that they were coming out with, and you could just see that it was obviously a special trip, and just the way the boys were around each other was just shows how good a tour it was, and just shows the friendships that were formed. And you had boys that ordinarily wouldn't speak to each other in the club before they went were arm in arm singing and dancing.